Do-Rag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Earth Day Y2K 18.02.07. 272 days to the mid-year and 24 hours or so until the next Trump suspenseful government shutdown. Save our GOP. Wow! What the hell? Save our GOP? What is this guy on drugs? Well, you know, weed, but I don't think I consider that a drug. Yes, save our GOP. I'm going to say some names now. All of them conservatives, basically. I mean, except I guess, I don't know if Abraham Lincoln was a conservative. What? Max Boot, Steve Schmidt, Michael Steele, Colin Powell, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower, George Will, John McCain. I'm sorry he voted for this tax ripoff, but in general, John McCain, war hero, Bob Dole, David Frum, among others. And these folks will shine in the history for being true representatives of the GOP. Max Boot, Steve Schmidt, George Will in particular, will stand as part of the right side of history once our enemy Trump Putin is defeated. Because, once again, what these folks in the Republican Party should be thinking right now is, what side of history do they want to be on? So they have to really consider selling out to that creep, that I was going to say that traitorous creep. I'm still considering whether or not, I could use that word, but for now, selling out to that traitorous creep, or align themselves with the law, with the Constitution, and with the true principles of their party. And who's going to stand out with that? Who are going to be the heroes from the conservative side, from the GOP side, to stand against this creep? These teabagger bastards and this Trump Putin creep have subsumed, they've absorbed the GOP. And we must rescue it. We must save it. Now, Boot, he was on MSNBC last night, and he is advising everyone, he's a Republican, he's a conservative, to vote for Democrats. He wants a Democratic sweep. A big fat sweep of Democrats. Not because he likes them, he doesn't like them, but because he wants to liberate his party from the teabagger Trump Putinists. We must, according to him, bring this GOP down to defeat to bring back the authentic one. Now, again, I'm not a conservative. I believe in a bigger government that helps every person in need. A government dedicated to making this planet a better place. A federal government that could be the final arbiter in case the states and the local government F with us. I'm lucky I live in a Democratic-controlled state. Well, Cuomo's he's middle of the road. But at least, he has that attitude. He wants to protect our state from lawbreakers, from people who are trying to destroy our Constitution. Also, I do not believe in a one-party system. To undermine our already meager two-party system. Everyone should be able to have the right to choose at least between two, but not stuck with just one. I'm not a totalitarian, folks. I mean, when I talk about this, when I rail against gerrymandering and stuff like that, if gerrymandering was all in my favor, the liberal, the progressive favor, I would still be upset, because that is totalitarianism. You cannot do that. You have to give people a free and equal choice without any kind of rigging, which is gerrymandering, which the GOP supports, the hypocritical GOP of this era. So the GOP must be saved, and a massive democratic sweep from here until the GOP repairs itself and divests itself of the stink of Trumpism will help. At least this is the advice of a conservative and Republican Max Boot. Make these teabagger Trumputinists go down to bitter defeat again and again and again. Sweep the country with the Democrats. Sweep it. Not to destroy the GOP, but to bring back the authentic GOP. Whenever I rail against the GOP and conservatism, I do so because I've seen negative effects on my personal life because of this philosophy. I mean, I was living in Southern California under the Governor Reagan, and it did not help my family. His policies did not. In fact, they were extremely harmful. I mean, the only time, most of the time, conservatives, and as far as I know, as long as I can remember, have always been for business and not much for the working person. But they weren't trying to tell us what to believe in our religion, you know, how to salute the flag and all that crap. So I do recognize conservatism and its negative effects. On the other hand, I recognize that the GOP of this era is tainted by extremism. It's been going on, I mean, like building since the Reagan time. So finally, you know, it culminated in the eruption of the teabagger, and now Trumpism. And Max Boot believes that the GOP of this era, believe it or not, this guy's a Republican, he's a conservative, but he believes that his party is now in the hands of people who are going to undermine our democratic republic. They're going to illegally take over our government, destroy it, downgrade our Constitution. Look, I will never support the conservative philosophy, but one day there will be a GOP again, untainted by the Trump rot of this era. Republicans have done good things, such as destroy slavery back in the 19th century. I mean, they could have done more about what happened afterwards. You know, when Jim Crow came in and other discriminatory practices. But okay, let's give them some credit. They also gave us interstate highways and the EPA. We need in this country choices and alternatives. We need always at least two parties in opposition. And that's for the best of our country, not for the benefit of only one creep. Vote Democratic. Vote. Like 272 days, whether you're right wing, left wing, whatever it is you are, Republican, we have dangerous, I hate to say it, traitors in power. Putin supporting traitors. Please, folks, please. Vote Democratic, not only to save our country and our planet, but ironically enough to also save our GOP. Shit, folks, it's Do-Rag Wisdom again, and I just want to add to, Trump wants to have a military parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. He says just like they had in France.
But I think he really wants it like they do in North Korea. or like Russia, something like that. He wants to show the military and tanks and all kinds of stuff will be rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue, and they'll rip up the streets, and we're gonna pay for it, the taxpayers. At the same time, he wants to build his stinking Republic of Galilee wall that we're gonna pay for. Remember, Mexico's gonna pay for the wall? Who's gonna pay for it? Who's gonna pay for it? No, we're gonna pay for it. You see, I'm not surprised, ladies and gentlemen, because I've known about this creep for years. I live in New York City. I've lived here since 1974. And I know about this creep, folks. And he wants to use us and our country like a broken slot machine that keeps paying out. Don't let him do that to us, folks.